the documents we are using for our class have been updated. I'll share it again on the chat. So I dropped a link for the Google Doc we are using as our class notes. So we updated the documents. Also, for today's class, we'll not be going to our normal routes, which is opening Anaconda and going to the Python notebook. Let me share my screen. Okay. Confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Yes,
All right.
On the side, we can.
So for today's class, let's use a new window. For those that are unable to get Anaconda or the Python notebook, they mentioned that we should try to use Google Colab today so that we can carry everybody along, even if you are not able to get Anaconda software. So to do that, just go to your web browser and search for Colab Notebook or Google Colab. So right on the first page, and you will see colab.google. This is the link here. So to use this notebook, just click on this link. So if you're unable to download the Python notebook or Anaconda, you can use this in place of Anaconda. The only difference is that here it uses internet. So if you're not connected, you might not be able to use Google Colab. And another advantage Google Colab have is that you can easily collaborate with other members using Colab notebook. So I'll click on this link here. Okay. So to open a notebook, you see here, open Colab, new notebook. So I'll go for new notebook. So there's no much difference between using our local Python notebook and Google Colab. The same way we have cell, we can run our cell here by clicking on run. We have the same, almost the same interface. Here we have file, we can save, we can open an existing notebook. We can create a new notebook also. So firstly, I'll start by naming this file. Python. I want us to look through the assignments together before we proceed today. Click this. Why that is opening. So our major target for today's class is to here in our normal Jupyter notebook, we have a markdown. So to create a markdown in Google Colab, we use text here. So we then create the text. So our class agenda for today is to revise last class, assignments, introduction to data analysis with NumPy and Pandas. Yes. So once you are done, you can create a new code here. And this should be up now. So these are our class week notes, class 3. We talked about if statements. I think we should all be very good using if statements now. Also, list data type, how we can check the length of our list, then some string operations, and then for loop. So I'm going to, okay, we talked about Python function also, string formatting. So I created this. I believe we've all gone through this PDF. So we'll continue from here today. Our assignment is write a program that takes two numbers and outputs their sum. So here, we need to determine what are the inputs we need. It says you take user inputs for two numbers, convert the inputs to integers, and add the numbers. That's the first assignment. Let me copy. So create a text. We already have our instructions. The steps is basically take two numbers and add. Just as we have x plus y. So this is what we want to do, but in a more standard way. To do that, we create a function, def, let's say add numbers. See, another cool thing about Google Colab is that here you have AI suggestions for you. This will make me lazy. Let me just accept the suggestion. Yes, this is what I want. I want to take in two numbers, x and y, and then return the addition. But I will make few modifications to this by saying, come here. Let's say z equals to, then I'll remove this. Put the comments. Another important thing to note is that from these documents here, I think I should mention it. Yeah, this instruction is very important. Note that by default, user input is coming in as string. So we need to typecast this to integer. So by saying int x and int y.
We're not seeing your code. We're not seeing your Colab. We're just seeing the notes.
Really? Let me stop sharing and sharing. Thanks.
I think it's from their network. I was seeing that.
I'll just share again now. Please confirm if you can see my screen now.
Sure, we can see it.
I was seeing your screen, so I don't know what the young man was talking about. I was saying know what you're doing. I don't understand.
It's network. All right, thanks. Let's just proceed.
I'm also seeing it. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
So for any of us that's yet to go through these documents, it might be strange. Some things we'll be doing now because we'll be using this input function. So I believe we all should have opened the bits. It's fine. Let's proceed. So here we've defined a function add. Add is the name of our function. So to use this function, the next thing for us to do is to call this function. So let's call the function here. To call the function, we do something like this. Yes, we know that it takes in numbers x and y. So we need to take user inputs. So by defining x, so let's say x equals to, again, the system has already supplied me a suggestion that I can decide to accept or reject. But let me review it. It says inputs, please enter first number. I think it's fine. You can take it. So whenever you get a suggestion, what I'm doing is that I will review it. Once it's fine, then you click on tab on your system. So clicking on tab will accept that suggestion and you might decide not to use it actually. So let's review it again. This is where we are defining our first number and this is where we are defining our second number. All right, let's test our function. Here, the system is asking for the first number. So let's say my first number is 4. So once you type anything inside the box, once you are done, click on enter. So my second number is 12. So once I'm done typing this 12, I just need to press enter on my keyboard. Then the system will proceed. I have the answer here. But again, let's format the answer by putting an instruction before the answer that's okay. Results. I'm trying to modify my function to say, yeah, again, I don't really like using the Python notebook for us. It will make us too lazy. Again, let me click on tab. So now we'll be returning results. Here we're actually using string formatting. We create a string, the sum of x, y is z. So then we call this function this method x, y, and z. These are what we are going to use to replace this, and this. So let's run the function again. 3, 4. So now the answer is more like presentable. The sum of 3 and 4 is 7. Okay, so let's quickly proceed to our next. The next assignment is we need to create a system that checks if a user can withdraw money based on their account balance and the amount they want to withdraw. So ask the user for their current balance, ask the user how much they want to withdraw, okay? Text. Let me copy this. So create a function. What are the inputs for the function? Current balance and withdrawal amounts. Whenever we are creating a function, we always need to be able to determine what are the inputs that will make this function works as we intend to. So after creating that, we need to check the balance. Okay. So the next step is to write if condition to check if the balance is greater or equals to withdraw. Let's say withdraw amounts. Let's change this to withdraw amounts. Imagine me having, let's say, 200 in my accounts as balance, and then go to the bank and say, okay, I want to withdraw 500. That doesn't make sense, right? So the amount you are trying to withdraw must not be greater than the balance that you have. So we need to check that condition, right? That's the only basic thing in the assignment here. So once we make the check, then we print a message to approve or deny withdrawal amounts. With these 2 steps, we've already completed this assignment. So let's proceed by saying, oh God, I'm also lazy, right? Let me just accept. So here, let's review it. It's created a function. The name function name is withdraw. So it's taking in 2 inputs, current balance and withdraw amounts, which is fine, exactly what I want. So the next step is to convert current balance both to integer. So let's say current balance equals to, so I'm trying to convert it to integer because the inputs might be in string. So let me type. Let me put the instruction here. Convert the inputs. So it should be floats. So floats in terms that we can have, let's say, 200.25 as balance. So that's why I changed it to floats. So what's the next step? The next step is to check the, let me copy this. I want to check if current balance. So in our current comparison operators, we remember we normally use something like this for greater than or equals to. So withdraw amounts. So print your transaction is approved. So we can customize this a little bit more by saying, let's say, after you withdraw amounts, right? So we need to subtract that amount you withdraw from your current balance. So that will be your new balance. So let's say new balance. But this is not really part of the instruction for the assignment, but it's just how the system should work. So let's run this. Is this fine? Let me go back to the instruction. Print a message, approve, okay, then we are fine. So the same way we have here. So now our function name is withdraw. So let's copy this. So So let's say my current balance is 200 and I'm trying to withdraw 500. Yes, the system prints your transaction is not approved. Yeah. This is how the instruction goes. Yes. I think we are done with the assignments. I would like us to go back to the Python notebook so that there are some concepts I will need to explain more. But if you are having suggestion A, I might be just like not able to explain everything. So, but I believe people who don't have access to Anaconda Python, are now able to use Google Colab now. So if you're having any issues, you can drop it on the chat, then we can go through it later. Our major focus for today's class is, let me open this doc. So please, I'll need everyone to go through this notebook. Yes. Exploring numerical data with NumPy. My major target is for us to go to Pandas directly, but we need knowledge of like basics knowledge of NumPy before we can go to Pandas. So both Pandas and NumPy, they are Python libraries used for in data analysis. And NumPy is the building block for Pandas. Like if you should understand NumPy very well, you'll be able to perform operations on Pandas easily. So let's start. Let me give it a name. NumPy and Pandas. So what makes Python really interesting is the ability for us to use a library in our code. You know, before we normally write our code as same way we have here, like everything will be the one to define it, and then all operations that will be done. But Python provides us with some libraries that will help us to be able to perform some actions faster. So part of those libraries, NumPy and Pandas. So for data analysis, right, it's very important for us to understand NumPy and Pandas if we are going to be doing data analysis with Python. So these libraries. Then there's another one, Matplotlib. So Matplotlib is basically for graph. So, but for today's class, we are only focusing on NumPy and Pandas. So what's NumPy? NumPy is a robust library for numerical and mathematical computation. So it provides tools that are comparable to those found in environments like MATLAB or R, but it's designed for Python. So NumPy simplifies the user experience by offering high-performance multidimensional arrays, a wide array of mathematical functions to operate on arrays efficiently. So tools for performing linear algebra, statistical operations, and more. So basically, to use NumPy here, like the theory part is sweet, but the practical is sweeter. So here, starting by import, to use NumPy, what you just need to do is to, as you normally write in your cell, x equals to y. So import NumPy. This is just all we need, import NumPy. Then this alias, maybe it's user-defined. You might decide to use it, you might decide not to use it, but it's advisable to use it. So let's come here in our code. Let me put the markdown. NumPy basics. So defining import, let me say import NumPy. To do that in Python, we use import keywords. Import is keywords to call a library. So let's say import NumPy as NP. So this as NP, I'm the one that defined it. The way we normally have x equals to y. I can say NumPy as NPX. So anytime I want to use NumPy in my code, I'll be referring to NPX. So, but the standard alias is NP. So let's run this. Normally, we've talked about list. So what NumPy is doing is like related to list in ways that we have, let's say, ages, the way we have in the NP dot array. Ages equals to 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I think what we are familiar with is this ages one, like defining a list. But with NumPy, right, it's actually the same thing. But for mathematical operations to be kind of faster, we use NumPy instead of defining a list like this. So the difference between lists and NumPy array is that NumPy array, it takes less memory of the computer. So it's really advisable when we have big data to work on to use NumPy. It's very fast in relation to ordinary list here. So just the same thing, you can just copy what we have here. Come here, say okay. Yeah. Let me put list. So my major intention here is for us to not to be seeing array as something that's strange. It's exact same way we have lists in our previous classes. It's exact same way, but now we are doing we are using NumPy. So we define it as an array here. So once we have something like this, it will be very easy for us to perform mathematical operations. Here also we can perform mathematical operations, but with using NumPy, it's quite fast compared to using list because it takes less memory using NumPy. Let me create some cells. Let me add instruction here. Markdown. Define NumPy array. So here Same way we have list, same way we defined array. So also in NumPy, we can check the shape of our array. Check shape. So to check the shape of array, what you just need to do is to call the .shape method. Using this, we can easily determine the number of items we have in our array. Using NumPy again, here, this one-dimensional array, but if you are to go more into mathematical operations, we have matrix where we can have multiple dimensions, like 2-dimensional array, 3-dimensional arrays, 4-dimensional arrays, as the case may be, depending on what operations we are trying to perform. But for this class, we'll not go deep into all those. I just want to show us some basic operation we can easily do on NumPy. Also, statistics. Operations using NumPy. So here, they can give us a task like, okay, we have an array of ages in our system, right? Can we get the mean age in this array? So with Python, it's very easy. Let's say, okay, let me put this here. Get the mean age in the array. So do that. We just call our array here and say dot mean. So once we define our array, then the next steps is for us to start performing some operations on this array. So using this 1, 3, 5, 6, the system is able to calculate the mean age in this array. There are other statistical operations we can easily perform on this array. Let me check charts. Maybe I'm missing anything. Okay. All right. Apart from .main, the other descriptive statistics methods that we have using NumPy, let's say, keep quiet. Take this. We have median. No. It's STD. Okay. Standard deviation. When using NumPy, let's open library here. So this is the official documentation of NumPy here. So to read more on documentation of NumPy, here is the documentation link. But let's proceed with our class. So taking this array, we can decide to add, let's say I want to add increments ages by 2. So I want to do operation of addition. I want to add 2 to each ages here. Same way we have in our previous classes. What the system will do is that it will add 3 to each items on this list by taking the first item, add 3, second item, add 3, third item, add 3, like that. So let's print. That's correct. Currently, we have a sorted array here. Let's say we have an unsorted array, like we have 29 here, we have 6 here, we have 25 here. So let's see. There are other operations we can perform on our array. Let me just list some. Insert cell above. Can sort our array, can reverse our array, get basic descriptive, analysis. Let's try to check the dots. Sort method. Oh. It's the same here. Here we have MP dots median. So why this is very important before we move to Pandas is that Pandas is built on NumPy. If we are able to understand some basic operation here, if we should start working with Pandas, it will be very easy because most of these methods is what we'll be using in Pandas. .main, std, like sort values, then how to filter an array. What else? Then the same way we have list index, right? We have index in array also. We can say my age by getting the item at index. So remember in our class, in our last class, we talked about how to get index, a particular index. So now I want to take index at like first index, this one. Remember I told us that we have to use square brackets to get index, right? So, and it starts from 0. So my array at 0 will be 1. Yes. So then at 1, at 2, at 3, like that. So also, let me put it here, array index. Say I want to select first item, second item, and then leave the last item out. Like I want to select 1, 3, 6, and 25. I think it's here. Going back to this document, list index. Let me find it. Index. We have it in. Okay. So to revise our knowledge about list index, we can go to this section of the document. So stats, we can create this under slicing by defining the start index and the end index. So slicing, we'll put it array slicing. So let's say we want to select array at index and then up to the fourth index. So I'll call my array here. Then index, my start index is 0. Then I want to select up to, this will be index 0, index 1, 2, and 3. So I want to select up to 25 here, which is index 3. So let's see. Select 0, comma. Stop name. Start from 1 up to start index, say 1. The same methods we have for list. We have all this method also for NumPy, where we can easily reverse our list, sort, counts, or remove an items from our list, as the case may be. So let me go back to now Pandas. You can go through this document for more examples on NumPy or the documentation here, numpy.org. Can check the user guide, API reference, and all here. I just need us to have some basic knowledge of NumPy. It's very important because that's the backend that Pandas is built on. So, normally we've let me open Excel. If you are familiar with Excel, Pandas will not be too strange for us. So, great. The same way we normally have our data on Excel, let's say name, height. Let me zoom. James 35. So the same way we normally have our data in Excel, where we have row and columns data here. Same way we can have that exact operations in Python using Pandas. Pandas is one of the libraries we can use for data frame operations. Markdown, data analysis. With Pandas. So data analysis with Pandas. What does data analysis entails? Data analysis, like we have our data, we are trying to analyze it, just put in a simple way, right? So data, where do we get this data from? So we need data to be able to perform data analysis. You can't perform data analysis operation like if you don't have a data. So let's quickly read through this. Data analysis is the process of collecting, inspecting, cleaning, and transforming data over useful information. So we are trying to discover information from this data. So there are basic operations that we need to get to analysis. First, we need to collect data. So after collecting data, right, is when we can start the process of analysis. So different methods where we can get our data for analysis is maybe through surveys. Surveys as in form of creating a questionnaire where we give our participants, okay, please help answer this to get data right. Second one is online data source. So we can get data from, let's say, Kaggle or use AI machine learning data repository. So they have data that we can go to the website and then download. Can get data through interviews. You can get data through APIs, or we can get data through connecting to a database. So after getting data, the next process is data exploration. So let's quickly go through how to get data. Through surveys. But before doing that, we can actually create a mock data on our system. So that's what we'll practicalize with. Then maybe before the end of this class, we'll practicalize on how we can create a survey, and then we'll send the link out so we can get data for us to experiment with. So to use Pandas, the same way we have here, import NumPy. So for Pandas, it just imports Pandas. Then we give it alias as PD. So we've imported the Pandas library. Let me put an instruction here. So then we call the DataFrame methods. So the next step is to define the data inside this data frame. Let's say I want to have a data in form of, let's say, data. Where we have columns. So the same way I have it here. This example. Where we have column name, height. Then the names below. Same way. So this is my first column, name. Then I'll put column. Then define the list of names that I have. Let's say I have James. I have Yaya. Then I have Musa. Then after the first column, we need to add comma here, and then define the second column. For our mock data, right, it's height. Then we define so height will be Mr. James height. Let's say James height is 38. It's integer, right? Okay, 38. 28 and 12. So data df goes to something like this. So this is like a mock data. We create a survey to actually get the actual data. So here, notice how we defined the data frame. So we call the Pandas library the data frame method, and then we define how our data will look like. We say we are having two columns. This is the first column here, and then this is the second column here. If we should need more columns on our data, just add comma, and then we define the column. Let's say age. So, but instead of using this, let's create a data frame, something that looks like this, so that we can quickly use in our class. So we need data for name, hours worked, and monthly salary. So it's like just a mock data, right, that we want to analyze quickly. Name, hours worked, and monthly salary. This the structure of data we want. And checking the list of how we can get data for analysis, which says through survey. And we said that one of the most common ways to get data, where users create a questionnaire or forms to collect responses. Online tools like Chisquares make it easy to gather structured data So we'll quickly use the Chisquares platform to collect data that should then import in our Pandas A and quickly do some analysis operation on it. So to access data, Chisquares survey platform, come here and then chisquares.com. So we quickly want to create, please, once I'm done creating the survey, I will share it, then we can add data to it. I agree. Because I already have accounts, if you don't have accounts before, you can create accounts and then you log in. So this is the interface. I already have some data here, but to create a new data on Chisquares platform, you go to survey design here. So I want to start a new survey. Let's get started. So my survey title is data collection. So this is my survey title. Then I'll select the location, Nigeria. So let's quickly generate aims. So the platform requires us to supply aims of this project, but there's an option for us to generate with AI the aims for the project. To assess current state of data collection process in Nigeria, to explore views, to evaluate. Let me just select to determine the extent and then to test. Then I'll clear. Then I can generate keywords also with AI. The keywords that I need that's related to my work is data collection methods and field survey. Then I'll clear the rest. So then I can decide to add collaborators to this project for us to work together, but I can skip for now. So the next thing, let me go back to the structure of data I want. So I need variable name, hours worked, and monthly salary. So these are the variables I'll be creating. Blank survey. So the question type is multiple choice. Check. Yes, this multiple choice for users to enter their name, hours worked. Okay. So what's your name? So my variable name is name. No, shouldn't be multiple choice. Sorry. It should be single value text. So, okay. What's your name? So using single value text, it gives user the ability to enter any values of their choice. So then my variable name will be what the column will be named. So here I've created the question, then I'll push to questionnaire. What's your name? What other variable do we need? We need hours worked. Great. So hours worked will also be single value text. And that single value text. So let's say in a year, roughly. Don't mind my survey questions. So then the variable is hours worked. So again, the variable name is like the column name for this data. So we can create a settings. If you should check, hours worked is not string. So Chisquares give us the opportunity to accept only numbers. So let's apply this. So I've set this to only text numbers. So monthly salary. Monthly salary is, you can just follow the same steps we use for hours worked. Create a single value text response. Let's say what's your monthly salary? Then creates variable monthly salary. So then we are done. I'm not expecting actual data. You can create supply a mock data, right? So then I will launch the survey, but before launching, I will need to set the timeline. So let's say it starts today and ends end of this month. Save settings. So it's a cross-sectional study. So the next step for me to do is to launch, and I will share the link now. Then this share button for you to share the survey once you are done creating and launching that survey. So I'll be dropping the link on our chats here. So I've dropped the link. So while we are taking the survey, we'll proceed with some other operations we can do on our data. So if you have a data on our system, to read that data, we call the read underscore. Let's say here, read data from. So with Pandas, we have option to check the file formats and then use either of this method. We can use .read underscore CSV. We can read underscore Excel if it's in .xlsx file. We have other methods depending on the file type. So we do data, let's say data equals to PD, which is our pandas that we've defined here, and say .read method. We call the .read method on underscore CSV. So the file name is what we put here. Let me go back and check if you have data on our survey. Okay, we have 47 data. So to get the data that's on your survey, what you need to do is come here and then download. You can decide to download raw data or clean data. So I'm interested in downloading the cleaned data. So I have it here, datasets. So another important thing is for us to move that data into our working folder, right? I've downloaded the data from Chisquares platform. So the next thing is for me to move that data to my working directory. So I will just come here, copy, then go to search. Where's my working folder? Python, webinar. So then I'll paste it here. So let me rename it. So there's no need. I'll just make sure I copy this file name. So then again, check the extension. Here it is .xlsx. Sometimes it can be in .csv. It's very important to so you know which method to call, which maybe it's .read_csv or read_excel. So here it's xlsx. So then I'll come here and say read_. I'll change this to Excel. So I'm reading Excel file. Then I'll paste the name, then the extension .xlsx. After that, then I will read my data here. Yes. This is the collected data. So we can see that some columns are for metadata. Here it's unique ID chi-squares, participant ID, collection wave, data source, collected data, survey language. All these are metadata for my survey. So my desired variable are here, this variable name, this variable name, and this. So let's go into our data. So again, data equals to instruction. Let me explain what I'm trying to do. There is really no point in me trying to process every data on this table because some are for metadata, as I've mentioned before. So I only need some particular columns. So my next step here is to select my desired column from this table. So again, let's say we have a large table, right? I want to perform analysis. You can decide to pick out some columns that you need for your analysis. This will reduce the file size that we are operating with. So to select the desired column, right? You know, we've defined our data here. So data is this whole table. So to select some columns, add this, and then start selecting the desired column. Here, I need this column, this variable name, which is string. The next thing is I also need the month hours worked variable. Yeah, it's a variable for hours worked. Then monthly salary. For you to understand the variable names in on Chi-Squares, there's you can download codebook. Codebook will explain the variable name conventions. Yeah, let me quickly download it. So then download history. Yes. So variable names follow the pattern in Chi-Squares. You can read the interpretation of the variable name. But I'll just proceed with today's class. So we've selected the columns that we desired from this large data here. The variable that contains name, and the variable that contains hours worked, and the variable that contains the monthly salary. To do that, I showed us how we can select, put two square brackets, and then select the desired columns. Then let's check our data again. Now we have 3 columns, which is the name, hours worked, and monthly salary. So now let's start basic. Whenever we have data like this, we have data analysis process right here, which the first one is to collect the data. So we've successfully collected data, right? We have our data now. So what's the next step? The next step is data exploration. Okay, data exploration is basically we trying to understand the data that we have. Trying to understand the data that we have. So to explore data, basically in Python, let's put this header here. It says data exploration. Markdown, and then run it. So to quickly get an overview of this data, so we can use 2 methods, right? The first one is .describe by saying data.describe.
Majid, are you able to drop the file, the data on the chat box, the Excel spreadsheet?
Yes, I can check it.
Thank you.
Downloads, datasets. Thank you. I've shared it. Okay, let's continue. You can check the Excel file on the chat box that we are using.
Am I the only one who can't see it?
Really?
You share with
Is there a
everyone.
permission? Okay. Let me reshare.
Yeah.
You can check
Wow.
again.
Seen. Thank you.
Thanks. So the second method for us to quickly get an overview of our data is the .info method. So here it says we have 49 entries in our data, 40 null. So like here we have 9 null data because the total is 49. So here we have 25 non-null, we have 24 here. And then the most important to me is the data type. So here it says the data type for variable name is objects. Object is also used when we have a string data type. I think we are all familiar with string data type, integer data type, and then float data type. So string in Pandas is being represented by objects. So we have the hours worked as floats data, and then monthly salary also as string. This is supposed to be floats, but we can clean it to fit our use case. So let me put some structure here. Get basic information about the data sets. Using this .info method. Data cleaning. So basically, Chisquares have done some basic operations for us. So the next step is just for us to make it suit our use case. So we can see that we have issue with which column? Monthly. Let me just copy this column name. Salary, let's see. So here we can easily see this column. So the issue here with this column is, firstly, we have non-data, which we might need to deal with. The second is that some data have a sign. It was, for example, hero sign here, this R sign, dollar sign. Okay. Then this. So let me quickly copy this. How we can replace string. Since we understand string data type, for example, I'm taking this for us just like example of how we can clean our data. So basically, when we are doing string operations, all these parts, I think we have other parts also where we talked about how we can some actions we can perform on string data. I think here is a use case, right? .str. I can just call .replace. .replace will be taking two things: the actual data and what I want to replace it with. This should also be, I think. Yeah. Then check this data again. Let's see. Let me copy this. Now, then I need 1.5 instead of 1.5 euros. Let's redefine the data and then call our desired columns. Let's check again here at the top and see if our operations has worked. Insert cell above. So data at index 5 is 1.5 euros, and then we've performed this operation here. So data at index 5 here is now without euros. So we can perform the replace operation for some of our data here. But this is basically how to, okay, let me put some instruction at the top. Remove dollar how to remove signs from numeric So there are other methods we can use, but this is just an example of how we can remove numeric data. So let's continue with our data. So we can say here, get the mean hours worked. Here, so the same way we have on NumPy, we have also on pandas.main. So the main hours worked is 35,982.8 hours. We can call the, okay, let me put the other methods is the same way we have for NumPy, where we have dots. Check. Is it on this? Okay. The standard deviation. Put the instruction. Right. So limit the data. So when we call dot data here, we get all our data all at once. Let's say we just want to check the first 5 data. To do that, we can say data.add, like to get the first 5 rows in our data. Can change it first 5 rows. The other similar method for this is the dot tail. Dot tail will give us the last 5 data. Yes, these are all with none. So another basic operation we can perform here is, let's say, accessing data in a data frame. So a markdown, put hash here. This too. So when accessing data on a data frame, the two most used method is .lock and .ilock methods. So .lock will we take in the row number. So let's say we need data.lock at row or check gets data at first row. So whenever I want to index the first row, the same way we have for list, where it starts from 0, 1, 2, like that. Also for pandas, it starts from 0. This first row. Let's see. Okay, Olusegun. Right. It's correct. And the row number, let's say we need data for row number 2, and so on. So the same way we have for list indexing again, where we can select from start, we can define the start row and the end row. Also for pandas, we can define the start and end row. Let's see, we need data for starts from row 2 to, let's say we need row 2 to row 6. Define the start and end row. So or iLock takes in the by default it takes in the row, but for more operations we can define the start and end row. Let's say we have thousands of rows on our data and want to select data on, let's say, row 100,000 and to row 200,000. You can just define it here by saying start from row 100,000 to row 200,000. That this only if we have up to this row on our data. So then we move to iLock. So iLock is more useful, right? Because in iLock we can define which column we want to select data from. Here you can see that we are getting data from like all our columns. So with iLock we can also add the columns that we need from our data. So data iLock methods. It takes in row and column. So we call our data again. Wait, I'm just saying data is what we defined here. Sorry. Here, where we select some columns. So any operation we want to perform dots, then we are performing the operation on that data. Let's say I use the df, then I'll be calling df here. So .iLock, also the same method, but I will define the column. Let's say I'm selecting column 1 and row 2. Let's see the output. So what I defined here is that I need data on, see, this is how it works. Row by column, comma, column. So what I define here is that I need data at row 1. The first row on our data is, let's check, insert cell above data.add 5. So our first row is this. Row at index 0 and row at index 1. So this row, yes, let me use this. So these are rows, these 3, 4, 5, 6. These are rows. Then column are A, B, C, like this. The vertical lines, the horizontal lines are rows. So let's go back. So we selected data.iLock, row 1. Here is row 1. Row at index 1, row at index 0. So after selecting data at row 1, then the second thing is we pass the column column at index 2. So remember, we are on this row here. So column at index 2. Column at index 1 will be name. Here, name. This will be index 0, index 1, and index 2. So we selected index 2, and we are on this first row. So if we should drag it here and here, we say we are then selecting 2,300. Then we can modify it by saying data at this is equals to, let's say we want to change it to something else. Let's say I want to update it to 5,900. So we've updated this particular data, right? Let me just copy this. Yeah. As data analysts, we should be able to like modify our data easily. So let me put instruction here. Use iloc to modify data. So now we want to change this 2,300 here to 59. So data at, so let's run this and check the data again. Data.add. It has been updated here. Then another operations we can have is to filter our data. Filtering data. Let me change it to Markdown. No. So we can all see the screens. What do we need? So what do we filter our data by? Let's say hours worked. We need people that worked for 1,000 plus hours, like 1,000 or greater. So what we do is to say data at data. So the column we want to use is this. So now we want to define a condition for this column, which is a subset of our whole data. So let's say where it's greater than 1,000. So if we should check this, they should all be greater than 1,000, 3,000, 1,500, 16,000, 2,000, like that. So this is how we can filter data. Another reason why the comparison operator that we talked about in our previous class is important. Here is the use case in data analysis. Greater than equals to, greater than, less than. The same way we have it there, we can apply it here. Also, another important thing we can easily do basic analysis with Python is we can sort this data, right? Let's check the original data. By checking this, you can easily see that the data is not sorted because we have 3,000 here, 1,500 here, 1,600 here. We can decide to sort our data. Let's say to do that, data dot sort. Then this is the method we use for sorting data. So then we define the column we want to sort by. Each column, select the column here. Say we want to sort by this column. And then there's another parameters we can pass by saying do we want it in ascending or descending order. Let's leave that. Let me just pass it. Ascending. Method is ascending, which takes in, it's a Boolean. It can be either true or false. For this, I'm still it's false. So let's see. So now we have so we can easily see that it's Mrs. Nana that's worked the most hardworking participants. They're followed by Umu, followed by Mr. Abram. So this is the method to sort values. So let me quickly add comments. This optional, this ascending, can decide to add it or not. Another basic operations we can perform here is we have a lot of non-values in our data, right? So let's check that also. Handling non. So let's say data dots to check non-values. Data dot is null. Data dot is null. What you're expecting is we want to see like a table that says, okay, true or false. Maybe if a cell is empty, like none. So it's null. So this is false. We have true. True is when the data is null. True, true. It's not really advisable to jump into removing none like that in data analysis, right? We need to check how it's been applied and then how we can process it for our use case. Sometimes it might be advisable to drop it. Sometimes it might be advisable to maybe replace it with something else. Here, if I should drop this none here, none row, then I've dropped this name, John, because it contains none value. So I don't want to do that here. I don't want to miss any data. So sometimes it might be advisable to replace none with something else. Sometimes it might be advisable to maybe drop it. It depends on what operations or how you actually want your data to be processed. So I've seen a table that shows me the null cells. So then I can just come here and say data dot fill none, can fill now NA with 0, comma, then need to pass in place to be true. Let's read data again. Now we can see our empty data are now coming with value of 0, because we've actually filled now NA with 0 here with this instruction. We have another method to use, maybe to actually drop the NaN values. I just want to show us the two methods, right? So then we can decide on whichever method we want to use in our analysis. So the second method is to use data dot drop NA. Drop NA, then in place also true. So because I've filled now, let me redefine the data here, because I don't have NaN data again, because I have actually replaced them with 0. So I will redefine this data here. Here. Okay, then I can go back. So let's print data again. So you can see we have NaN values in our data now. So this Adekunle Lawa, if I should drop NaN, then I've removed this data entirely. So let's do data.add. Select 5. So we'll be dropping this row actually. So let's check data.drop NaN. So we've dropped NaN values with this command here. So let's check data again. So we've missed Mr. Adekunle at row index 3. It has been removed. Same for other similar data that are NaN values. So these are different ways to maybe you can explore to handle NaN values in your data sets.
Thank you,
So,
Majid.
yes.
So Prop has dropped a survey link on the platform. Can you take us through it? This way you wouldn't have to clean the data when you use the Chisquares platform. So can you please just show us how you can set it up in such a way that it would eliminate the need to clean it like you just did now? It's on the chat box. I can also send it to your WhatsApp if that's easier. I'll send it now, then you'll decide.
All right. Um, So here is the survey. Okay. All right. So taking this survey, you supply let's say my name. Next. Number of hours worked. Select 20. Then select units, let's say daily. So we have different options. This is another survey actually, where we can select the units. Maybe it's in days, week, months, or year. The hours worked. Then monthly salary, and select it here and then input the units. So the system give us some system supplied dollar signs, amount in units. Let's say we need it in Brazilian real, can select the units as then submit.
So that way there's no need to, so you wouldn't have all the different types of units, right, Mujib?
Yes.
And then there wouldn't be a need to go through all of that cleaning,
Yes.
which you have taken us through.
Actually, what I wanted to do is for us to get our hands dirty and something that's, everything cannot be going straight always. Sometimes we might need to do some operations to, this will make us like understand how to process data, because it's not always we'll be getting cleaned data. That was why I'm trying to like show participants how to actually work with data that's very maybe uncleaned.
Well, that's why they should use the Chi-Squares platform.
Yes. Because even we already have the analysis done already. We already have the analysis done by downloading the analysis reports. Yeah. Oh, people are getting bored. You don't have to get bored. Working with data, it's always like that in the real world, right? We don't get clean data. We need to then take the data, then start processing it, and then to be able to come up with something that's really usable. But here, Chisquares have done all the tedious work for us. Here we have the data, word cloud analysis. Yeah. Wow. We really did not set this survey up as we're supposed to. But let's continue our work. Yeah. Also, how to apply function in Pandas. I think this is the last part for today's class. So we can define a function, categorize users. It will take in the hours worked by saying if you've worked for 2005 above hours, if hours is greater than let's say 25, then we need return this string add working. Let's say we want to return work more. I'll be normal. Let's say normal. Okay, then run this function. We are making a mistake here, add column. So this function will check the hours column, and then if it's greater or less than 25, it will create another column that says, okay, let me quickly apply it. So data at let's say status. I want to create a status column from this function by saying data at hours worked. Dot apply. P. Then our function name. So let's print data dot add. So we created a new column from an existing column by checking if the hours worked is greater than 25. Then we'll assign a status to that data. So I think this brings us to the end of today's. We had a long class today. Today's class. So, Audrey? In our next class, we'll move to how to perform, how to do data visualization with Matplotlib. Also a library in Python. And I will share this notebook to the group. Odayo. So if there is any questions, let's stop sharing. You have permission to unmute. Let me check. All right.
Yes, they can unmute.
Yeah, so I've been trying to unmute myself since for a while. So yeah, thank you, Mujib. And
You're welcome.
please, if you have a question, you can raise your hands. And I've shared the link to our YouTube channel. Please try and subscribe, and so that you can follow up from week 1 in case you missed, the previous weeks, so that you can follow from the week 1 to where we are presently. So kindly subscribe to the channel. So for the attendance, it was shared earlier. I'm going to reshare that too. So for questions, so I have Donatus.
Hello.
It's yourself. Okay, thanks. Yeah, go on with
Good
your question.
evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's nice being here, but I think some of us have been left behind, so we are trying to chase the bus. We're not reaching the bus. Maybe because the basic steps. We watch the YouTube channel. We go to the Chisquares platform. We watch, but with Python, I don't know with everybody, but to me, it's a bit technical. Though I have some basic programming in Stata, but this Python thing is serious. So maybe I will encourage that the way you teach like a professional. And some of us we are amateurs. Mm, I mean like this, I want the thing, but I'm left behind. So I don't know. How do you carry some of us along? We are doing well, so much well that I'm lost. Sorry. Thank you.
Mujib, do you want to answer that, or I should just go ahead?
Go ahead, Odun.
Okay, so Donatus, yeah, so that's why I shared the YouTube channel link, so that you can follow up with, so that you can just watch it and pause and just follow what Jib actually taught today. So it makes it very easier for you to grasp the little concept. And if you have any issue, I don't know, maybe on the WhatsApp group, you can drop your questions there also, so we can follow up from there. And if not, you can just reach out to anyone to just help you out, or screenshot it. Any problem that you have, just share it on the group so that we can follow up from there. So I think that will help. Donatus, is that okay?
Okay, yes. For now, I'm not on the WhatsApp, but I'll give my number. I've been trying to join. Unfortunately, I've not been successful.
Okay.
But I'll try again. But I'm on the platform, the Chisquares platform. So
Okay.
sometimes I try to do 1-2 on my own by learning, going to YouTube to watch videos and other things. But I need that kind of some kind of guidance to know certain things.
Yeah. Okay. For the guidance, like I said, the YouTube is there. But if there is more to it, you can just highlight the issues you're having. Then you can share, like I said, share with us. Then we follow from there. But firstly, you have to rewatch the contents on the YouTube. Okay, so I'll move to Suleiman. Suleiman, ask him to unmute. So we can.
Hello,
I
can
can't
you
say.
hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yes, good evening. I'm very sorry to take us back to the first class. I've been finding it difficult to actually install the Python. I've been able to download it, but I've been unable to install the Python, and again to the Anaconda navigator, I have problem launching the Jupyter notebook. It just bring out a blank space without any instruction. And my third question is that for the class, it seems too fast and everything just runs too fast. Maybe because I'm just getting to learn it for the first time. So it seems I'm left behind and I'm not really getting it. So I want to see if there's a way you can just help me with the installation of the Python. It keeps saying that I should verify that I have the directory access. So that's my question.
Yeah, okay. For installation, I think we really buttress on that, and I was able to draft out some process in which you can actually follow through to resolve your issues. So what you are going to do for me is just I think you share your screenshot. Don't worry, I will just check where the problem is coming from and see how we can resolve that. So I don't know if you can share the screenshot on the WhatsApp group so I can follow up from there. So thank you. Esther, is that okay?
Yes, I've done that. I've sent it to the group.
Okay, I'll follow up from there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So I have Francis.
Yeah,
Francis, your
it's
question,
nice.
please.
Yeah, it's not been the class today. It has been a great and wonderful work done by Mujib. You have
So I think we lost Francis. Maybe his network. So I'll move to Usman. Can you ask a question, please? Can you unmute yourself and speak? Usman, are you here? Okay, let me move to Keita. You can unmute yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
good evening. I'm Keita. Thank you for this wonderful session. And I learned a lot about from Mujib. And I just want to join the WhatsApp group, but I noticed that the group now is complete. I don't know if there is any issue or any other method to join the group. And is it also possible to get the videos, like to download it? Because when using it on YouTube, it is very difficult, but when you need to pause and follow, it will be very difficult. I don't know if there is any other solution or issue to allow us to download the video. Thank you.
Sorry, the last question, I didn't really get the question. Can you just repeat yourself, please, so that we...
Oh, okay. The
Yeah.
last one is about the video. On the YouTube, it is very, I sometimes have difficulties to follow the instruction, and I don't know if there is any issue to download it, or if on the WhatsApp group, we can, did you send also the video on the WhatsApp group? I don't know.
Yes, it's always there. Maybe I'll just reshare the link again today.
Okay. For the WhatsApp group, is it possible to join? Because I noticed that it is now completed.
No. Another link has been shared today for you to join. You can check the chat box, you see there.
Yeah. Is that link talking about that? Even that it is now completed, yeah.
It's not full. Is that
Oh,
what you are
okay.
saying?
Now it's okay. I've joined the last one, the last
Okay.
link that you sent.
Okay. Thank you. So for the video, you can actually download it on your own profile on YouTube. So I don't think that will be an issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So Mujib, do you get the first question that I asked?
I thought it's about YouTube video and
No.
how you need access to it.
That was the second question.
Okay, what's the first question?
Can you repeat the first question you asked, Keita?
No, it was about to access the video. It's okay.
Okay, just log in. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Ikene, can you ask a question?
All right, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mujib. Thank you, Chisquares. Mine is not exactly a question, but I was just interacting with some persons on the call, and I think like I had some challenges with the Anaconda.
Did you write something that you said, where's your objective? Where's your objective? Because this one like this,
Hello, sorry, I don't know if you can hear me.
I
So
can hear you.
I think the challenge I had was that like I was using a 4 gig RAM laptop, and it was difficult to install the Anaconda. But when I upgraded to like an 8 gig RAM, it was faster, it was easier. So I don't know if maybe the device might be the reason why people are having some of those challenges. I just wanted to add that to the call. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okon, yeah, can you ask a question?
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for today's section. It was really intense, but all the same, great. So my worry is with the I still have little issue with the data cleaning. So Mujib, you mentioned earlier that sometimes it could be advisable for you to change some of the null values you have to 0. Other times it could be advisable for you to delete the null values. Now, does it not affect the total population that we got from this study? For instance, if we have a total of 100 respondents and we have up to, say, 40 null values, if we are replacing the values with, or we are deleting the values, does it not affect our standard error? Or we are replacing it with 0, does it not affect the total result of the study? So please just help me in explaining and giving clarity to that. Thank you.
Sustainable improvement.
Thank you for the question. Yes, it will definitely affect it. As a data analyst or research analyst, you are left with the decision to take whether to, like, the purpose of this class is to show us different ways of approaching this kind of problem. So whether to drop, whether to repeat, even that fill none, you can have a value of your choice to fill none with, because in this class we actually used 0. You can use something else. You can use empty string, depending on what you decide. So it will definitely affect the population size if you drop the none values. But for the purpose of this class, we we just try to experiment with different methods. Just an experimental class. Thanks.
Prof. Agaku,
Thank you.
are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right, would you like to say something?
Yeah, definitely. And so, and on the Chi-Squares platform, when you collect your data, for every missing value, the platform tells you why it's missing, right? And so, it could be missing because the respondents were skipped, or because they were not eligible, or because they there was a partial response, they never got there. Whatever the type of missingness that, or whatever the reason that the individual was missing, you would have that reason captured in the clean data set. So you're not left wondering, oh my gosh, I wonder why this person was missing. The data is there for you. The platform captures all of that data for you. So the way you respond to missingness is driven by why that value is missing in the first place. If you are, let's say, trying to look at tobacco use behavior, and individuals indicated that they're not a tobacco user, and they were skipped on questions that have to do with smoking, then it will make sense to say, all right, this individual is a non-smoker. So if there are questions that have to do with smoking status that they were skipped, it makes sense to replace that with 0, because they were skipped, because they are not part of a denominator. And so it's a case-by-case basis, and that's why the platform gives you all the information you need to make that decision. So that's why that's the very reason why you have the clean data set. It captures every single information about every type of missingness that is available, so that you have the information to make a decision when you're analyzing your data.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, any more questions before we call it a day? We have spent, I think 15 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? So if there is none, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on LinkedIn, so that you can get more updates. And the class continues next week, same time. So please, let's join early.
I want to ask a question.
A question? Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
the installation of the Python, is it possible to use? Somebody have introduced me to Anaconda, like the cloud, instead of using to download the Python itself, having as a window or an app on your laptop. So, is it possible to work in the cloud or using a browser? Because since then, some of us have been trying to install, it's not working. I remember someone just mentioned having difficulty to install the Python. Is it possible that you can work like I work in the cloud, and what are the advantages? Because some of us I don't know, our browsers or our laptops, but we're having difficulty. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for the input. We really appreciate it. Thanks. So, since there's no question, please, you can actually, like I said earlier, follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn. Follow our profile on LinkedIn. They are very important. And I think Mujib has an information to share also. Mujib.
Okay. Regarding the last question, that is there like a online notebook that we can use? We actually tried that in today's class, where you can use Google Colab. So just go to your browser and type Google Colab. The first link is what you can use to have access to an online Python notebook.
Yeah, so you also give an update that instead of using the one locally, that you can use the cloud, the Anaconda cloud part of it. If you have your internet and everything available, that you can use that one instead of running it locally. So Muji, do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. So thank you, everyone. So we see you next week. Please 4 p.m. same time next week.
So if you check the charts, there's link
Please.
to
Please, I quickly have
all
a
our
question
systems.
before you go. My
Yes.
internet has been off and on. I'm Francis, and I want to commend Mujid what you have been doing. My question is, I'm into geospatial analysis. I want to have a sort of how do we have libraries for geospatial analysis in terms of image processing and other syntax for geospatial analysis if it can be shared next class, not now, when we meet next week, Tuesday. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
So Muji, do okay, no problem. So thank you, guys.
Yes. Odun,
Yeah, I'm with you.
is there any link for Aspan to see? Because there are some links on the chat box for all our slides. Maybe
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
they
that's
can
why they have to follow us on LinkedIn so that they can have access to the slide. But I'm going to reshare the links again that Longly shared. Please, you can check the chat and see the messages that have been sent. So there are some links that you can click on to have access to our slide, the WhatsApp group, the YouTube channel, and some more information. So we have access to our platform also, which is very important. Please, if you have any questions, you can still ask. We are still here for you.